If you've been paying attention at all to social media this summer, then you have probably encountered the movie K-pop Demon Hunters, or perhaps even seen it. It is a movie that is absolutely sweeping the nation with its animation, and two of the characters that really stole the show in it were not even human, but rather a tiger and a bird. In the movie, the tiger and the bird are kind of a tandem that go between the demon world and the real world, between two of the characters, and a lot of people noticed that they were just really fun, funny, and kind of magical in the movie. The coolest thing about that duo is that the bird is actually based upon a real-life bird that has some importance in South Korea, and it's a species that's actually way cooler than you might think. First, let's do a little detective work on exactly what species Sussy the bird from the movie is. Our first candidate is a species that's called an Oriental magpie robin. This is a relatively small bird. It has kind of an iridescent black on the head, a little bit of the neck, the back, and the wings, and then a light colored underside and a patch on their wings that's also white, which is a pretty striking field marking. This definitely fits the bill for what Sussy looks like, so it's definitely possible. Now, the thing that's interesting about these birds is that they do have some significance in Asia. They're actually the national bird of Bangladesh, but they don't really show up in South Korean folklore and don't have any cultural importance necessarily to South Korea. So there might be a bird that actually fits better. And that one is the Oriental magpie, also known as the Korean magpie, also known as the Asian magpie. If you notice, it actually looks very, very similar to the Oriental magpie robin, except it's bigger, has a longer tail, has a little bit beefier bill, so it's kind of like an Oriental magpie robin stretched out. So this bird also fits very well in terms of the coloration and the patterns. If you look at Sussy and you look at this bird, they are almost an identical match. But now the cooler thing about this is that they actually do have cultural significance in South Korea. In South Korean folklore, they're known as a symbol of good fortune, and historically been seen in a positive light. In some mythology, they're said to have formed a bridge for two lovers to cross, and therefore be together. In modern times, magpies still hold importance in South Korea, as they're the national bird of this country. In K-pop Demon Hunters, Sussy is depicted as a creature that can go between the human world and the demon world, always spending time with a goofy-looking blue tiger. This pairing, while it may seem strange, is actually an homage to traditional Korean political art, in which the tiger was drawn as a dopey-looking animal, representative of political leaders, while the magpie was viewed as cunning and representative of the people that were governed by these leaders. In some of these depictions, the tiger is wearing a hat, which in K-pop Demon Hunters is taken and worn by Sussy the magpie instead. Now that we've deduced that Sussy is most likely a magpie, what is it about these birds that makes them cool? For starters, they don't live just in Eurasia, but all the way across the ocean in North America too. If you live in the US but want to see a magpie similar to Sussy, I have good news for you. There are two types of magpies that live in the US. The yellow-billed magpie that can only be found in California, and the black-billed magpie that lives year-round throughout much of the western United States and looks extremely similar to the Asian magpie. There are also several other magpie species that live all over the world, so if you want to see Sussy in real life, you can certainly go out and find a magpie. Additionally, magpies are very smart and have found ways to live in areas inhabited by humans, often feeding on scraps of food left behind by people. In fact, for people in the western US, these birds are probably a familiar sight around farms and in neighborhoods, among other places. Overall, K-pop Demon Hunters actually did a really good job of depicting the magpie, both in terms of how it looks and in terms of its cultural significance. If you haven't seen this movie yet, go check it out and let us know what you think, and put down in the comments below if you liked it or not, and what you thought of Sussy the magpie. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Badgerland Birding.